palette is so pretty. Look at the pink. Oh, so pink and girly and floral, perfect for spring. So in today's video, I am reviewing the new Natasha Denona Bloom palette just in time for spring. It has 15 gorgeous, warm, floral inspired shades. So of course, I'm gonna conduct some swatches. I'm gonna create a look like I always do. I am a big fan of Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes, so I expect great things from this one. This one is on the pricey side, $69. So I'm going to scrutinize it, okay? Let's get into this video. Subscribe if you aren't already, notification bell, and let's hit it. Natasha Denona Bloom palette review, a look, and a verdict for you. Let's go. All right, this palette is gorgeous. Gorgeous to say the least. I don't know why, but these kinds of colors I always gravitate towards. They're just these beautiful wine slash pinky, but not too pinky, very wearable, beautiful shades that remind me of 2016, aka my favorite era of makeup. And also I love the fact that there's all these different types of finishes. I have this pamphlet here with all the different eyeshadows and their individual finishes. We've got mattes, we've got creamy mattes, we've got silky mattes, which is different from creamy mattes. We have metallics, we have duochromes, and we have sparkling foiled duochromes. And then we also just have sparkling foiled. So there's a lot of different variations on all of these shades. And that is exciting to me because from the looks of it, you can create a variety of different looks. Just a wash of color for every day or something a little bit more dramatic for night. And I gotta say, I miss eyeshadow palettes. So thank you, Natasha Denona and team, for bringing us the eyeshadow palette. I can always rely on you for that good old eyeshadow palette. Now that I've said all that, I already mentioned the price, $69, available online and in stores, NatashaDenona.com, Sephora, Ulta, Sephora EU, UK, Mexico, Southeast Asia, Australia, New Zealand, Cult Beauty, Look Fantastic, Beautylish, E-Cosmetics. There we go. Also, made in Italy, as always, cruelty-free, which is what you can expect from Natasha Denona and team. All the good feels, all the good vibes. Also, this is very inspiring. This is gorgeous. I love a bold eyeshadow look with just like a barely there lip. I tried to recreate a version of this, but my own version of this on my lips, something a little peachy coral, but you know, neutral. I am not going to do swatches right at this moment. Instead, I'm going to do them at the end of the video just so that I don't spoil it for myself. I find that sometimes when I do swatches before I put the eyeshadow look, I tend to coordinate the shades that I think would go well together based on swatches, and I don't want to do that. I find that sometimes it's a little counterintuitive, so instead I'm just gonna go by feel, but I am going to plug in the swatches that, keep in mind, I swatched at the end of this video, so plugging them in right now, right here for you to enjoy. Look at those sparkles. Look at them shine. All right, so now that we've done all that, it's time to slap it onto the face. I am thinking that today I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I actually went on Pinterest last night because I was anticipating filming this video last night, so I was trying to do some research and trying to create some sort of a new age version of like a blooming eyeshadow look. And I got inspired by a lot of Chinese makeup, like Duan makeup, and also some K-beauty makeup. So I think I'm gonna do a little version of that. With that said, I'm gonna take a flat little brush like this, and I'm gonna layer 3 different matte shades on my lid to create an ombre sort of effect. I think I'm gonna go for shade Petal, then like a medium shade like Wren, and then a deeper shade like Clover. Boom, boom, boom. That will keep it nice and pinky, but neutral. And what I'm gonna do is dip my flat brush into shade Petal at first, making sure there's no cat hair there. I'm going to place this in the inner portion of my movable lid and slightly past also. I'm gonna work with both eyes at the same time, which I never ever do, but today I'm gonna do. Notice how I'm kind of going in a diagonal like that. There we go. All right, next, same brush, dipping into this shade Wren. This is a very beautiful shade. It's like a pinky peach without the dust. So it's kind of like a rose shade, but without that dusty rose vibe. Everything but the dust. I'm gonna take this same diagonal motion and just pack it on. Same thing here. Placing it, dragging it down, But when I say dragging it down, I'm not actually dragging the lid down. I'm just dragging the eyeshadow down. And you could really only do this kind of technique with a very creamy eyeshadow, like this creamy matte. There we go. Now that I've packed on the color the way that I like it, I'm gonna dip my same brush into the final shade, which is Clover, this one. This one is like a wine color, like a true wine shade. And I'm gonna complete my gradient just like that. And just like that. Okay, so now I know this looks very, very crazy, but trust the process. I'm gonna take a small brush, small tapered blending from Sigma, and I'm gonna start blending those borders in between that first shade and the second shade. I'm just using light tapping little motions to blend it in. This is a really, really easy eyeshadow technique that you often see in Asian makeup trends. So I thought I'd try it, all right? Then I'm gonna take a different brush for the second shade. This is like a no-name brush, but it should do. And basically I'm gonna do the same thing, just blend the second and third color into each other. Now remember, you're not blending the third color into the first. You're keeping them separate. So don't accidentally swing all the way in. Keep it nice and tight and contained, just like that. And same thing on the other eye, just like that. All right, and then I'm just gonna soften the edge of that ever so slightly, like that. Now I am gonna go back to that shade Ren, the middle shade, and I'm going to intensify slightly the center. I just feel like I had a little bit too much of that lighter shade and not enough of that medium shade. So I'm just gonna bring it back with that flat brush. Yeah, exactly. And then same thing here, just bringing back that peachiness, that pinkiness, and that prettiness with the middle shade. And then with that shade Petal, just wanna make sure that the inner corner is still nice and bright. Yeah, this is my first time trying this technique. It's supposed to be a faster technique than actually blending out the colors into each other as you go along. But so far, I don't find it to be faster. So far, I'm finding it to be a little bit more tedious and a little bit slower. But I guess that's just because it's my first time trying it. So it's to be expected. I do also feel like I might have lost a little bit of that darker shade. I'm gonna bring it back. There we go. So now I'm gonna take a big fluffy brush, something like this, Morphe M441. I'm gonna dip into the shade Keen, slightly darker than Petal. And I'm gonna do the windshield wiper right above all three of them, just to kind of get rid of that harshness on the top. All right, so the top lid is essentially complete. So now I'm gonna move on to the shimmers. I'm gonna dress up this look, and I'm also gonna test out more eyeshadows. So I hear this shade Fleur is a duochrome, light pink with icy ivory shift. That's exactly what I need in my life right now. I'm gonna dip right into this shade Fleur. And I'm gonna kiss my inner corner right with that shade, just like that. And I'm gonna kiss the other eye inner corner, just like that. Next, I'm going to very delicately align my lower lid with shade Fleur. And I'm not really pulling, I'm kind of just placing and tapping very gently, just to highlight it. This is called the Eggio in K Beauty, but my Eggio is very, very flat. So according to our American standards, it being very flat is considered very youthful here, but not in South Korea. In K Beauty, the puffier and fatter this part, the more youthful you appear. But to me, it's just fun to try different things and to experiment with makeup, regardless of standards, regardless of what people think. I definitely just wanna try different variations of different eyeshadow placements and things like that. So why not? Another thing that they do in Korea is kind of outline the lower lid with a darker shadow. And I could do that, but now that I've highlighted it, this natural wrinkle that I have right underneath almost feels a little bit more pronounced. So I think I'm gonna skip that part. Instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this tiny little brush. This is from Sculpt by Spectrum. I think this is in collab with my girl Ash K Home. Number 30 is the number. I'm gonna take this shade Bark, kind of just twist my liner in there. And then, okay, so you see how this part of the lower lid goes flat, straight, and then this right here raises way up on me. I'm not gonna do that. Instead, I am going to extend my lower lid as if it wasn't pointing up. I'm going to point it straight, but not too straight because I still want it to look flattering on my features. So I'm gonna take this brush and gently draw a little wing. from the center of the lower lash line outwards. So this is something that I've seen in Duan makeup, which is like a Chinese doll-like makeup with the big eyes, big circle lenses. We're not gonna do all that. We're just gonna do a couple of elements here and there, like that. Also, you have to be careful not to make it too long because then it's gonna remind us of Arabic makeup, and today is not an Arabic makeup kind of day. I'm not going for that today. Instead, I wanna do something blooming and fresh and floral, and this is my take on it. Extending that lower lash line, just like that. Cute! And then back to my little liner brush and just softening that on the bottom with the shimmer shade. So cute. So now I definitely want a little bit of sparkle. And so for the sparkle, I'm gonna go for the shade Crisp on my pinky. And Crisp, from what I understand, is a sparkling foil duochrome coral with gold. I'm gonna add just a smidge to the inner corner and then just a smidge to the bottom center lower lash line. You see that? Somehow it just brightens up the eye, just opens it up even further. And then whatever's remaining, I'm gonna press that in between my pinkies and just add to my top lid sporadically. I'm just doing this for that little bit of sparkle, not so much for the foiled, just for that hint of sparkle so that it ties everything together. So to complete all this, I'm gonna take this MAC liquid liner and I'm gonna do a wing. But before I do a wing, you're probably wondering, what the heck am I doing? I'm drawing this vertical line from my outer corner to literally the hood of my lid because I'm going to fake a wing. Basically, I am extending my wing from the actual fold of my lid, which is not what I typically do, but this is something that is a common feature in Asian makeup, especially in Duan makeup. So I really wanted to replicate it. So you see how it looks like the wings of my eyes are almost extending my entire eye shape as opposed to just the lash line. This is the whole point of this. So this somehow makes your eyes look a little bit bigger than what they are, actually a lot bigger, and it makes them a little bit more doll-like. So then I'm gonna line my top lash line as I normally do, but if I do it normally, as you can see, it creates this little whale tail. So it doesn't quite work. So then with my eye open, I'm just gonna connect that little vertical line to the middle of my lid. It's all just a big illusion. So now looks like I have a much longer and much wider eye than I actually do. It's pretty crazy, in fact. They've really thought of everything. I usually just embrace my smaller eyes, but this is definitely interesting for me. I can see the illusion. I can see how it makes the outer portion of the eye just look so much more open, and just, it totally changes the vibe. And it definitely changes the shape, or how the shape is perceived, you know? Obviously, this is a technique that was developed for Asian eyes, which is why it looks so dramatic on Asian eyes. And it's definitely fun to try, but I can't stress enough how important it is to be aware that changing your features or the way that they appear to other people should only be done for fun, really, and not as like an everyday sort of thing. And even if you do it every day, I just think having that awareness that you're doing this for fun and you're not doing this to satisfy any sort of beauty standard of any particular culture, I think is really important. So just want to throw that out there because I don't know about you, but for me, this definitely strikes a chord, especially because I am someone who's mixed race. I have people of all different races in my family, and I remember being young and feeling a little bit different because of that, and wanting to use makeup in that way to be able to fit in into a certain standard, as opposed to just accepting who I am, you know? So yeah, although this is fun, I can see how different my eyes look. And it's definitely very interesting to observe, to say the least. But I do like the look, and I do think it's a lot of fun. Now, what I'm not gonna do is pop that very light, bright waterline liner into my lower lash line to make my eyes look super, super huge and open and doll-like. I'm not gonna do that. Instead, I think I'm gonna use a somewhat neutral shade like this one, Caffeinated, from DECAY, and that definitely does make the eyes a little bit crisper, but not so much brighter. I'm also gonna pop that slightly in between those two liners, just a little bit. For the lashes, I actually have a new mascara to test out from Honest Beauty. This is Jessica Alba's line. We have shade Intensely Black and shade Black. I'm gonna go for Intensely Black. Very cool packaging. We've got a primer base on one side, very blue, and then we have the mascara on the other side. I mean, this blue primer looks like a blue mascara. I wouldn't mind just wearing this alone on a different day. Okay, I can see why this is a primer because it does a good job of separating the lashes, but it's not thick enough to actually perform like a mascara. So now I'm gonna use the big giant wand here and try to cover up all of that blue. All right, seems to be working just fine. That's a nice little combo. Definitely a thinner formula because the lashes look feather light. I like it, actually. I like it a lot. There we go. Oh, I like this mascara. Honest Beauty. This is nice. Definitely feels very clean and different. Almost like you're not wearing any mascara or primer at all. But the lashes are so much longer and so much fuller. I like this. Nice job. All right, I'm not gonna do anything to the lower lashes. I'm just gonna leave it at that. And that is my look. Let me show you a close-up. How cute is this eye look with the florals in the back? Oh, got a little bit of mascara there. What do we think? I'll tell you what I think. Natasha Denona Bloom palette has not failed my expectations. It is as expected, as great as it can be. The colors are very, very easy to work with. I really appreciate the cohesive story that all of Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes seem to have. So I am someone who collects them all, and so this is going to be another addition to my arsenal, to my big drawer of Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes. This one I really like for spring. I think it's really, really wearable, actually. It doesn't matter what eye color you have or what skin tone you have. This will look great on anyone. I am really pleased with myself. The fact that I decided to try something new with an eyeshadow palette, with a product that I've never tried before, but because Natasha Denona eyeshadows are so trusty, I knew that I can pull off this slightly different eyeshadow look that I think came out quite nice, but definitely makes me look like I belong on one of those Chinese calendars. I see it. I think you see it too. And I think this is something that I may experiment with just to add a different technique into my arsenal, into my repertoire of skills. And I guess my message for you today is embrace the new, maintain your true identity, and stick to your guts, stick to your true authentic self, but definitely embrace change and be open-minded to different things. That is kind of my vibe for today. I have a lot going on in my life right now. And so all of these things that I just mentioned to you, I am definitely also saying to myself, I need to embrace change. I need to maintain my own integrity, my own self of true authenticity, while also being open-minded. So on that positive note, you guys, I am going to say farewell. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out. I'm out, and I love you. Deuces!